This will be the second part of how to play series, and today we will look into how to play healers. And it is mostly about Druid, but we will also look into Tempest Healer, and we will somewhat look into the Renegade and Firebrand. No, Renegade Healer and Firebrand Healer. Yes, but mostly it will be about Druid. And we will start with Druid, as you might have noticed from this whatever is happening here. And I will give some time for people to arrive to the stream, and meanwhile I will make the squad and enter the training golem. And now we will arrive to the training golem. So, since Druid doesn't really have much of a rotation, we will more discuss what you should take for each boss and what kind of combos you have and what you should do in the Celestial Avatar. First off, we will discuss what gear you need. And for the user Druid build, you need Harrier gear, which is power main, healing power, and concentration secondary. You should have monk runes, but I'm being lazy and I have altruism runes. You can also take water runes. And I am pretty much full Harrier, except my chest is muggy because I am cheap like that. Then for weapons, we will have axe and warhorn and staff. You will also sometimes use sword, and sometimes you will use longbow, and sometimes you will also use greatsword, but mostly you will be just using axe, warhorn, and staff. For the runes, sigils, we take water and transference, and same here, water and transference. And trinkets will be full Harrier as well. If you want to know how to get those Harrier trinkets, because you cannot get them from Living World Season 3 maps, you can send me whispers and I will discuss that with you, because that is completely another story. Then for the traits, we will have Skirmishing, Nature Magic, and Druid. In Skirmishing, we will take Primary Reflexes. We won't take these Sharpened Edges because it just gives more bleeding. We are not really a Conde Druid or anything. We can also take Trapper's Expertise when we are using the Healing Spring. So this one, because it's a trap, then we can use it more often. Then we will take Spotter to boost our group DPS. The other ones are again pretty much damage focused, so this is just more bleeding. This is just a stronger sword pretty much, so we take Spotter. And the nice thing about the skirmishing line is quick draw, which will mean that whenever we weapon swap or whenever we go to Celestial Avatar, we can use a spell with lower cooldown then. For example, if I well, it doesn't happen now because I'm not in combat, so it only works in combat. But for example, if I came out of Celestial Avatar and used the Warhorn 5, it will have a shorter cooldown. Then this is just more condis, and that's just more power DPS, and we don't care about them. In the Nature Magic, we will take Instinctive Reaction, because it says you and your pet gain healing power based on power. Now the gear we were using is Harrier, so our main stat is power, so we will get a lot of healing power for just this trait. Then some fights we want to take the Search and Allies Aid. It pretty much costs Search and Rescue whenever you try to revive someone. What Search and Rescue does is it just well, we can show here what it does. Your pet teleports to your ally or whatever, and then your pet will revive with the ally. So in some fights where you might have people in deadly fields, you could take this. Just press F at your ally, and your pet will start reviving them while you can go do whatever you want. Then we will take Wineborn Notes because we are using Warhorn. Warhorn is our pretty much best weapon ability out of all because it gives a lot of regen, it gives fury and swiftness, all kinds of nice things. Then there is grant boons when you swap pets, doesn't matter that much, and dodging removes condition, but that's in 10-second cooldown, and we have a lot of condition clean on our own, we don't need that. Then we will take Nature's Vengeance. So our spirits grant extra boons. This is nice because these are a 10-man buff, and we get a lot of nice boons such as Vigor, which is a bit harder to access, and we will also get protection, extra protection from Stone Spirit. Then the other ones are pretty much again just some damage stuff, so like beast abilities heal allies, you don't care for that because you can heal your allies yourself. When you receive damage, nearby foes are weakened and you gain protection. Well, you don't need that when you just have your Spirit of Nature, not nature, Stone Spirit up. Yeah, so you don't need that. Then in the Druid line, we will take Cultivated Synergy, so when you use a heal skill, you heal even more, because you do pretty much 2 heals. Then we will take Verdant Etching, which is Glyphs gain reduced recharge, and cast an extra heal, so the Lesser Seed of Life, it's this, which is just you summon a healing seed, which will remove conditions. And again, some of this is just some damage or some other stuff we don't really care for. Then we will take Grace of the Land. Grace of the Land is what makes Druid the Might bot. As you can see, it's a 10-man buff, and you give pretty much 3 stacks of Might whenever you heal. You can stack Might very easily with this. And then for some fights we will take Ancient Seeds, but we will discuss that later when we get to boss specifics. There's also this, which pretty much heals a bit extra, but you really need that Might in your group. So that's why we will take Grace of the Land. For utilities, Druid has a lot of different things you want to use, and it also depends on the boss, it depends on what the other Druid has, and also depends on what kind of team you have. It depends on very many things. So first we will discuss the pets, because that takes a bit less time. So the standard pets is Tiger, if you're lacking Fury, but Tiger also has a high damage, base damage. And then we will use a CC pet as a secondary pet. The CC pets generally are the Gazelle, because the Gazelle has a launch. And the Gazelle also, I think, yeah, they have this another launch as their auto chain. Then we can also take Pink Moa, which is easier to get. The Pink Moa has a daze, so it's also hard CC. And if you have, but you have to do Dragonstad meta, you can take the Electric Wyvern. It has also very nice CC. Sometimes you will be running double CC pets, so you might run the Pink Moa with the Gazelle, but usually you have one about damage or bone pet and then another CC pet. And I will switch them back to how they were, because that's how I like to play it. The Tiger is for the Furious Pounce. It gives a lot of fury. You usually don't need this because your Warhorn already gives so much fury, but it's pretty standard to use the Tiger. In some cases you can also use the Fernhound because it has a healing beast ability, which gives regen and just flat healing. So that's some of the pets. Then we also have Jacaranda, which can be used in cases where you need some immobilize, because Jacaranda has a bit of immobilizers everywhere. So here you can see it's 5 times 1 second immobilize, so I think it's 5 second immobilize, or is it 1? I don't know, but it still immobilizes the enemy, which is pretty nice. Another immobilized pet is the, this doge or whatever, Kryta Warhorn Hound or whatever. It has a 2-second immobilized, but the cooldown is longer than on Jacaranda, I think. And then we can also use situationally, but you don't use this often. You could use the Wolf, which has a fear, 2-second fear. But again, the cooldown is so high that you usually just want to use the Tiger and a CC pet, or 2 CC pets. Then we will just take, I guess we don't take anything because it doesn't matter, but we will make some kind of golem so we can stack some Celestial Avatar and things like that. So let's just make a weak golem. Let's also put the field to damages so we can get some Celestial Avatar. The Celestial Avatar is basically that you get this astral energy whenever you heal or attack. So, for example, if I was attacking that, let's put the pet on a standby. If I'm now attacking, you can see our Celestial Avatar going slightly up. It doesn't go that much up because we are not really that strong. As you can see, we have low damage. But you get Avatar for hitting. Also, this attack hits quite many times, so it stacks it a bit. But we also get Avatar a lot easier when we heal things. So I can send my pet there, so it will just take some damage off this field, hopefully. Or not. Apparently, the field doesn't hurt him, but I'll just hurt myself, I guess. Now you can see I'm being hurt, but I'm not healing or attacking. The Celestial Energy or whatever isn't charging, but when I use my heal skill, it goes up quite a bit. And now I have regen, which also gathers us that energy. And again, we have regen to gather more energy. We'll just let it go full so we can show what's up in there. And then we can move on to utilities, because those are situational. Now we have all of the whatever astral energy celestial avatar ready, and we can discuss what you do in the actual celestial avatar. I'll first discuss the attacks there. It will be a bit fast because I cannot really pause it, and we will pretty much get out of the avatar after this drains out. You generally, when you play Druid, you pretty much use your celestial avatar whenever it's up. Unless it's some kind of boss where you know it's gonna hurt us a lot soon, then you might delay it a bit. But usually you just go there whenever it's up. And we will now go into Celestial Avatar and discuss the spells. We might have to do this a few times because it doesn't last long. So first off, we have Cosmic Ray. This is just a flat heal. It's about 1000. It looks like this. It has some delay. So you pretty much have to try to shoot it wherever your ally is going, not where they're standing. And as you can see, it rains really fast. Hopefully we can get it up with this. Nope. Let's just make a more threatening field so we can heal a bit faster and take a lot of heals. Moderately. Probably that's enough. So now you can see one of the traits in action. Whenever we use a glyph, we spawn these seeds. This feels actually very painful. It also helps to... Oh yeah, Hooty could come take some damage so I can get my avatar up a bit faster. Or maybe Hooty could just come here and GG for me. Because you can also get your avatar up whenever someone GGs. Because reviving counts as healing. While Hooty is coming, I'll also discuss the matter about reviving. You know that the healers are healers and you know they should save everyone, but if you're healing, well, if you're reviving someone, you're just like sitting there rubbing one person, which is why you shouldn't be the one who's reviving, not the healer. it should be a DPS, because when the DPS is reviving someone, you can heal that DPS person. And yeah, I could link them in the chat, but the problem is that then I can't really show them at the same time. So we will just get Hooty here. And I have blocked the chat, so whoever is whispering me will not be on the stream. So yeah, we are not the one who should be reviving easily, because we want to be healing everyone, not just one person. And our heals are AoE, but revive is just single person thing. And now our avatar is up again. And yeah, Poker also hates my Warhorn. But yes, now our avatar is up, and I think we already discussed the first one. Let's discuss the second one. The second one is pretty much what the glyphs do. So we spawn the seed, which explodes after a while. And when it explodes, it heals, and it also removes conditions. It also blinds, but that doesn't really matter too much. Sometimes it's better to use number 2. It heals a bit less. Hooty, can you GG? I'll tell them. Now you can see my Celestia avatar going up when I revive someone. This is also a very good way of getting your avatar up before a raid boss or something, because this way you can just get it up anywhere. So I'll just link those spells so I can actually read their healing amounts in the chat. But yeah, this thing is slower. The cast time takes longer than the one. One is just you can spam it fast. But it heals a bit more. The healing amount is almost the same, because the number 1 Cosmic Ray, that is about 1200. The Seed of Life is 1300. So you basically want to spam 1/2, but in some cases it's nice to use 2, because 2 is more obvious for your allies. They can actually see that, oh, there is a healing field, I run there. Whereas 1 is just a spam thing. And they cannot see that they have to stand still to get the heals. They cannot like run to the heal. Next we will look into the number 3, which will be Lunar Impact. It is that it's a huge heal, and it's also a CC and blast finisher, but it has quite long cooldown, so we can pretty much use it twice or maybe 3 times per Celestial avatar. It's very huge, like this size, and it looks like this. It's a big explosion. This heals for 4000, so it's a very strong heal as well, and it's very easy to target your allies with it because it's so big. Then we will look into the Rejuvenating Tides, which is our pretty much best heal ability. It's also good for might stacking because it heals. It has 5 pulses, so it pretty much heals 5 times. That means you get 15 stacks of might with just 1 cast. With this, you heal 1300 5 times, and that's pretty much it. It's also water filled, and you can move while using it. The only problem with this ability is that you can cancel it accidentally. If you dodge or if you use another attack, you can cancel it, but it looks like this. You can move with it. And we'll just use some other attacks meanwhile, because it's on a cooldown. And now we could barely use it again. And then the 5th one is Natural Convergence, which is a good CC ability. It immobilizes your enemy pretty much for 3 seconds, I think. And it's also a channel like the 4, but this time you cannot move while you're using it. You usually never use this. It's pretty much only used for certain bosses, which I will discuss later, where you use it to root a mob. You can also use it as an emergency CC if you really have no CC at all. Your pets are on cooldown, the lunar impact, the explosion is on cooldown, then you might want to use it, but it's soft CC and it's not too great. It looks like this. We cannot move while we're casting it. Also takes long out of our precious Celestial Avatar time. So we basically never use it unless we really need that immobilize. And now I will show you the basic rotation inside the Celestial Avatar. It is generally done with quick draw, so this, and that we will use the quick draw to reduce the cooldown on the 4 skill, the one where you have the water field that you channel, because that one gives most might and it's also a very strong heal. It's large area, easy for people to see. I will just go here in the combat, so we will get the quick draw effect. So we start with 4. We have to let it channel. Then we use 3. Then we just spam 1 or maybe few 2 until 4 is up. Use 4 again. Again you spam some 1 or 2. Then you use 3 again. And then you're done. That's how you pretty much do your usual Celestial Avatar combo. I will show it now again because it's I cannot stay in Celestial Avatar long, which is really annoying and makes it a bit harder to show what you have to do, but we will look into it again. So again, we will first use 4, then we use 3, then we just spam 1 or 2 until 4 is up, use 4 again, spam some shit until 3 is up, and use 3 again. That's pretty much when it ends. So we use 4. Now I wasn't in combat when I started using it, which is bad. Now it's on cooldown. And we use 3 again, and hopefully have time for 4 again. And well, we didn't have time because we didn't use the quick draw. And yes, there's also an extra Condi Cleanse combo, which you can do if you use Seed of Life and then Lunar Impact into it, because the Seed of Life is a light field and Lunar Impact is a blast finisher, and blast finisher into light field is a Condi Cleanse. And I will now do the thing again, the usual rotation. Now with this Seed of Light, Lunar Impact, extra Condi Cleanse combo. So we first use this, then I think it's like this. Boom, extra cleanse, use some, spam some 1 or 2, use 4 again, and if you have time, use 3 again. Then we also have a CC version of the Celestial Avatar. It is pretty much the same as what we have been doing so far, but now we will use 3 first because 3 is a CC. This way we reduce the cooldown on Lunar Impact with CC. Otherwise it's pretty much the same. So first we want to get in combat, so we get that quick draw effect. So Lunar Impact, then we use 4. Now as you can see the cooldown is low, we use that again. Spam some 1 or 2 wherever your allies are. See if you can pull 1 more of these off. And that's pretty much it. I will show it again because it's very short when you can see it. Hooty, Sacrificial Lamb. And yes, I always press everything pretty much. That's just how I'm used to playing. So again, the CC combo is 3, then 4, then spam 1 and 2 if you can, and 3 again. Pretty much use 3 of cooldown. Get in combat first so we get quick draw. Use 3, use 4, then 3 again. Maybe use some 1 and 2. See if you have time for 1 more 4 a little bit, maybe 2 pulses. And that's pretty much what you do in Celestial Avatar. The most important thing is to remember that you use either 4 or 3 first, because you don't want to waste your quick draw on something like 2. Sometimes you might want to use 5 first if it's to really immobilize something, to use the immobilize twice in a row, but that doesn't really heal, it's just for special cases, which we will discuss later. Now we will look into utilities. Generally, you have 2 druids and you want to cover 4 spirits. The spirits you want to cover is water spirit, you want to cover frost spirit, stone spirit, and sun spirit. The water spirit just heals your allies, pretty much 75% chance to heal yourself on hit. So if I use this here now, we get the water spirit effect, which means we will heal ourselves when we hit the boss, I think. And as you can see, Hooty also has it. Then the frost spirit will increase flat damage.
There's the power.
75% chance to grant 10% bonus damage on hit. It also gives us might, and the water spirit gives us regen. Then we have stone spirit, which pretty much just gives us protection. That's pretty much it. It just gives 75 protection, 75 chance to apply protection, and it also gives us passively protection quite often. And then we have sun spirit, which is a condi boost. 75% chance to apply burning on hit, and sun spirit will also give us vigor. We are getting all of these boons from just having these spirits being AFK here. We also sometimes take the spirit of nature, which is usually just used to revive 5 people fast, because when you summon it, as you can see what it says here, it heals allies and it pulses stability. It also yeah, that's pretty much what it does. It's not that useful when you just have it standing there, but the active is what we're interested. It sacrifices itself to revive and cure the conditions of nearby downed allies. So you can revive 5 downed allies with just this ability. I think we can show it how it works with Hooty. I'll just ask Hooty to get down and I will revive them with the Spirit of Nature. Usually just save it. It has some cast time. It has about 1.5 second cast time, which will be reduced by quickness when you are in the real raid. But now I can already see that Hooty will go down soon, so I will start casting it already. Now Hooty is down, I will cast it again. And now Hooty is back alive. You can do that with 5 allies and you can really time it well. You can even revive yourself with it if you time it really well. I will show that now as well. So I will go stand here. Because when the Spirit of Nature sacrifices itself, it has a bit of cast time. If you start casting it right before you go down, you can revive yourself with it as well. It's a bit hard to time, but it's possible to do. Now hopefully I don't get too much healing from the spirit, so I will actually go down. Hopefully. Doesn't look very promising. I'll just put a stronger field down. And again, as you can see, there's a lot of passive heals everywhere. Let's make this area dangerous. And this time we will probably go down. Okay. Now. And I revived myself. That's hard to time that trick, but it's very nice if you get it right. And you can also use it to just revive many allies. For example, maybe you see that at Deimos people cannot go into the bubble. And you know that there will be the stand in the ward quickly. And people can't go in the ward. So you know when it's gonna hit. You can time the spirit in a way that you will revive you and your allies with the spirit after they get downed with the stand in the ward quickly thing. You can also time it for some other explosions, other kind of attacks where you know people will go down. For example, at KC, if there are a lot of spirits, those small spirits that will explode if you don't kill them. You can also time it with that thing. There are quite many bosses where you can use this to your advantage. And very familiar example, Vale Guardian. You know a green will fail. You will see that it's gonna fail. You will see that people are low. You can use it for that as well. And I will now show it again how it works. So we'll cast it. We're going down. We cast it right before we go down. And we have revived ourselves. So it's very nice combo, and it's very recommended to take the Spirit of Nature if you know people will go down. And now we have our spirits, but this is not very useful because we want to use some other things too. Usually druids have to be pushing things, they have to be boosting damage, they have to be doing all kinds of things. So we usually don't go all spirits, but we share the spirits between two druids. So you usually have to discuss with your ally druid, hey, I will take the water spirit and frost, and you will take stone and sun, and then that's okay. Then maybe your ally says, I will take water spirit. Then you're like, okay, I will take Cliff of Rejuvenation. Or maybe it's a boss where there's a lot of conditions, and you're like, okay, I'll take Healing Spring because Healing Spring has a lot of con declines. But the goal here is that you don't have two same spirits and you still want all of these four spirits in the fight. So you discuss with your ally. The other standard druid utilities you take is the Glyph of Empowerment, which just increases your ally damage, I think, by 10%. It just looks like this, and now your ally has a 10% damage boost for how long? 6 seconds. Another very common one is the Cliff of Tides. This is a quite short cooldown knockback, so it's a CC. It also creates that Seed of Life, which will heal, so you can just use like this to knock some enemies back or use it as a CC. Those are some of the common ones. Then there is Search and Rescue. In some fights, the ally might be in a... For example, if Hooty was standing in this field, then Hooty would get a lot of hurt, like Hooty can demonstrate, probably. Now Hooty is in a very dangerous field, and I don't want to stand there, so I'm just gonna use Search and Rescue to pull Hooty out of the field, and my pet will revive Hooty. Or maybe there is some kind of death wall that is trying to drive over Hooty. We can pull Hooty to safety with Search and Rescue. The other version is the Search and Rescue here. I don't think this pulls your ally to you, but you can leave your pet to revive someone while you are doing whatever you need to do. And I will demonstrate after Hooty gets down because I cannot save myself with it. So now Hooty is going down. I will press F and my pet will do Search and Rescue and try to revive Hooty. But as you can see, the field is too strong. In this case, even myself alone couldn't revive her. But me with my pet, we can revive Hooty. So it also speeds up the revive process because your pet is also reviving. It's pretty much two people reviving at the same time. How do you send the pet to revive without? It's the trait Allies Aid, which is just your revive speed is increased and cast Search and Rescue when you begin reviving an ally. So basically your revive hacks abilities is this Allies Aid, then you have the Search and Rescue, and you have the Spirit of Nature. All of these are very good in fights where you have a lot of people going down. But you generally don't want to take this if you don't have to, because this one you just get extra healing power for very easily, because power becomes, well, you get extra healing power based on power, and your main stat is power, so you get a lot of more healing with it. For example, now when I don't have it, my Glyph of Rejuvenation self heals me for about 6,000. When I take it, it will heal me, well, not that much more. It's about 6,200. But that will add up, especially with something like the Warhorn uh, region. Let's see. It's about 400 more with the Warhorn region. Just taking that thing. Then other standard things is, well, I think that's just all the standard things. You can also have a stun break if you need. The Protect Me is a very good stun break. It is a stun break for, I think it's 5 allies, but it doesn't say, but I'm pretty much sure it's 5 allies. And you can stun break for all of those allies. So now we have discussed with our fellow druid that they will take water spirit and they will take stone spirit. So we will take sun and frost, and we will take the spirit of nature as a stable addition. How do you use the utilities? Well, you just use the spirits of cooldown, except the nature spirit, that's only for emergency. So you just call these up. Then you pretty much says the avatar is full. We just go there, do the usual stuff. And yeah, we don't have quickness, which is also why we can't do that much in the Celeste Avatar. Neither we have alacrity. Then after Avatar you want to use your Cleaves, because you can use these to stack up some Celeste Avatar. Well, no one is hurt now, so we are not healing anyone. But you generally don't want to use them inside the Celeste Avatar, because you want to use them to get extra heal, get the Celeste Avatar back faster. And also they have different kind of effects depending on if you're in Celeste Avatar or not. The Glyph of Rejuvenation heals you more when you're not in Celeste Avatar, but when you're in Celeste Avatar it heals your allies more. Then we have Glyph of Empowerment, which outside of Celeste Avatar it increases outgoing damage of nearby allies, but inside Celeste Avatar it increases outgoing healing of nearby allies, which is like, you don't wanna increase their healing, you don't need that, you're healing them. Then we have the Glyph of Tides. This can be used in Celeste Avatar because you can pull enemies to you with it, but generally you just wanna push some evil enemies away or use it as a CC. Then if you use it as a CC, it doesn't matter if you use it in Celeste Avatar or outside. But again, generally you want to use all kinds of utility heals outside of the avatar so you can stack it up back fast. Then we also have, of course, the weapon skills. With the weapon skills, our best attack is the Call of the Wild, which is just the Warhorn thing, where you give a lot of boons to your allies. As you can see, this lasts very long, so it's very nice ability. Then we also have Hunter's Call, which is just nice damage. You can use because to get Celeste Avatar up, because it's when you deal damage, you get it up. Then we have these, you just spam them off cooldown. So basically, when you get out of Celeste Avatar, use 5. Or spam some shit, spam some auto attacks, maybe use some cliffs, maybe summon your spirits again. And then when Celeste Avatar is back up, you just do that. We also have staff, but we generally don't use staff a lot because we just want to use that Call of the Wild Warhorn ability. Staff is mostly used for mobility. We have the Ancestral Grace, which is a very long distance dash. So let's say we are in the middle of this evil field here and we gotta get out fast because we're getting hurt. We could use this to travel fast to safety. Then we have Sublime Conversion. I'm talking about this in importance. Which one is most important first? So Sublime Conversion summons a barrier that causes enemy projectiles to become healing bolts. It looks like this. It's also a water field. Now, if there was anything being shot through this field, they would turn into healing projectiles. So if there is some boss that is shooting at us or anything like that, you can use this to convert those bolts into heals. And they won't hurt you, they won't CC you. It's nice. Then this is just a laser beam, whatever. With this you, let's get the golem so we can show what it does. With this you just do this forever. And if someone is in the beam, you can heal them. So you want to stay behind whoever you're trying to heal with this. Then we have Astral Wisp, which just sends a wisp to spin around your enemy. It's spinning there now. And whenever it goes through allies, it heals them. Now we are healing Hooty, but this field is very strong, so we are in a bit of a trouble. Then we have Vine Surge, which is just immobilized. It also cures some mobility conditions. It looks like this. And generally you only use this to immobilize some mobs. So basically if you have to move fast somewhere, you go to Staff, or if you need fast heals and you have nothing up, you have none of the glyphs up, you have no Celestial Avatar up, then you might go to Staff. Otherwise you just camp Warhorn Axe. This is also a flat heal, so if we just use it on someone who's hurt, we can just flat heal them with that. It's also a blast finisher, and we have a water field, so we can combo those two to get an instant heal when we have nothing else up. I will remove the golem now so I can use my cooldown reduce thing. So the combo of getting some instant heals when nothing is up is you place the water field and you dash into it. Now you get the water combo, the blast finisher water combo heal, and you also get the instant heal from Ancestral Grace. You can also triple combo this because your Call of the Wild is also a blast finisher. So basically you can do the field, dash into it, and use your Warhorn for 2 blast finishers in a water field. But usually you don't need to do this. Usually you can just spam the Call of the Wild and that will be enough. Going to search the avatar when it's up. I will make some kind of golem, and I will also, well, I think it's okay. So I will now go fight it with Hooty, and I will try to heal Hooty through this damaging field. And then I will pretty much show you how it works in action. With the pet, if it's not a CC pet, you use F2 of cooldown. We open with that when we go to the avatar. We spam 1, but this field is fucking deadly, so it's not enough, especially without boons. Me and Hooty will die now. I will put a easier field down. And now I wanna again travel fast. Let's use stuff. Meow. It would probably be okay if we had protection and 2 druids and some other stuff, but we are just going without any boons now, so I can show you how much boons I generate. And moderate. Let's go. I will call my spirits up. Now we'll just have to keep attacking the thing a bit before it says that it's up. I don't have any heals, so I will use this combo. Use the pet of cooldown. Says the avatar, we use 4, then we use 3, then we spam some 1. Maybe throw a 2 in the mix. Try to use 4 again until avatar off. Instantly use Warhorn. use your cleaves. Spam everything you have, pretty much. Keep hitting it. I don't know if it will be okay, so I will call this already. Except I don't have quickness, so I will fail calling it, but Hooty seems to be okay. I guess we are doing something correct. But that's pretty much what we do. I will now save Hooty with that thing. But it's a bit hard to show what all kinds of things you do with it. But that's basically what you do with Druid. You, let's try it again. Maybe with a water spirit as an extra and a stone spirit, because we don't have that now. And I will take sun for Hooty's dodges. Now we will have protection, which will protect us a lot. And we will get a lot more hit. Lot less hit. We will survive more, that's what I mean. Let's call the spirits. Use the cliff, use the call, attacks. Use this combo because I have nothing up. And now we will do the Celestial Avatar rotation. Or, well, it's hardly a rotation. Now when it's off, we use War on 5. We use Cliff. Spam some attacks. Hopefully not die. Should survive. We take a lot less damage now with all the boons. Can we do the usual stuff? We Druids also heal ourselves whenever we heal someone else. I will show that right after we kill this boss. But that's pretty much the Druid rotation, hardly a rotation. The trade I was talking about is here. When you heal an ally, you also are healed. So you also sustain yourself by healing allies. And increase outgoing healing when you heal allies. So you have a lot of healing by default. Then we can move on to... yes, you can also increase your Celestial... You can get your Celestial Avatar back a bit sooner. If I'll just get it back first. If you heal yourself with the aftercast, the Seeds of Life, as you can see, for example, when I cast it here, it takes a bit before it pops. So if we are in Celestial Avatar and right before it ends we use number 2, we can use the popping seed to generate a bit of Celestial Avatar for us. It would be like this. So first we do some stuff here to get the Avatar down. And then we will use 2 right before we are going off. So about now. And now when we stand in it, we healed a bit. And of course, if you heal many people with it, you get a lot more Avatar. So I think now we have mostly discussed how it works, and we can now move on to what kind of utilities you should take for specific bosses. And we will start with Vale Guardian. With Vale Guardian, usually our druid's job is to push those seekers away. There are those red seekers that will pretty much damage everyone. So we want to push them away with Cliff of Tides. We also want to control them with Entangle. So if there is not enough control already, so we take Entangle and we take Cliff of Tides. You always sacrifice Cliff of Empowerment over any spirits, because I think there was some kind of research somewhere which says that the spirits give more damage than the Cliff of Empowerment. So we will take Tides, then we will just take some spirits, maybe we take this, depending on what the other route takes. And there we just use the tides to push the orbs away, and then we just entangle them to keep them wherever they are now away from us. We can also use the Vine Search to immobilize them for a bit. And that's pretty much what we take for Vale Guardian. For the trades, we take the Yuzu. We can also take Search and Rescue to revive someone who was in a lit up field. We could also take Search and Rescue, the actual Search and Rescue utility, to pull someone out of a deadly field. But generally, if you have one person reviving someone in the field and you're healing them, it should be fine. Then for Gorseval, our job generally is to immobilize the spirits when there is those 4 spirits around the boss. We do that with Entangle. We also use Vine Search again. And then we can use the Celestial Avatar 5, which was immobilize. Let's just get some Celestial Avatar. Maybe it's better if Hooty dies. We will now use that one with the quick draw to use it more often. And yes, when you have quickness, you can use your Celestial Avatar attacks more efficiently. You can use 3 and 4 more often. Also, you will have alacrity, which will also help you to use them more often. So, if you're trying to immobilize some spirits, you generally wait until they're both, at least 2 of them, maybe 3, are very close to the boss. For example, let's just put a golem there, which will pretend being a Gorseval. Let's imagine this is Gorseval. We have spirits there and there, there and there. And our allies will go to arrow. They will next go to circle, then they will go to heart and square. Square will be attacked last, so when they're attacking the arrow, they will probably immobilize it and all. So you pretty much wait for circle and square to walk closer. You wait for them to be somewhat close, so something like this. They're pretty close to the boss, and then you use entangle between. You might also, if they're taking very long time with the arrow, you might want to wait for the circle to be close too. When they're close to the boss, you go pretty much in the middle of them all. Then you use your entangle, and then in Celestial Avatar, you again try to hit 2. If you can't hit 2, just focus square because that's where your allies will go last. So you go to Avatar. Let's get into combat. We use 5. Oh yeah, I should have been combat while I went there. Yeah. So we use 5, then we use 5 again to keep at least square immobilized. And that's pretty much our job at Gorse. We also have to sometimes CC fast at Gorseval, so we want to use Cliff of Tides CC pets, depending on if you want to do fast or slow CC. Another important thing for Gorseval is that we should save our Celestial Avatar for the phase where there is black goop all over the place and where he's smashing the ground like boom, boom, boom. Because with that part, Gorseval has retaliation, so your allies might kill themselves if they use multi-hit attacks. For example, this Hunter Skull is a multi-hit. We don't want to use this when he's doing that attack because that means we get 16 times that retaliation damage, and that's just not nice. Another example is there could be Elementalist who is using their Meteor Shower, and then they hit themselves, 24 times. With that retaliation, they might kill themselves. That's why we want to save ourselves the avatar for that phase, so we can heal them most efficiently at the time when they take most damage. Then we can probably move on to Sabetha. We can also at Gorseval we can send our pet to attack those blue orbs, because your pet is just doesn't matter if it's attacking boss, you can just send it to attack something else. At Sabetha we will have 1 druid kiting, 1 druid at the middle, usually. The middle druid usually takes the majority of the spirits. They also can take the spirit nature if they want. And you generally want to probably run double CC pets because you have to CC Knuckles. And well, there, if you're the middle druid, you just do your usual stuff like always. if you're Kiter Druid, you can use staff more here, because the Warhorn probably won't reach your allies. Then you just pretty much kite on the edge of the arena with your pet in the middle, buffing your allies, and you try to stand near the behind your group, so you control where the flame wall appears. When the flame wall comes, try to save your ancestor grace, so when the flame wall comes you can just go fast the middle, then run with your team around when the flame wall is there, and then just go back to the edge when the flame wall is about to be gone. During the flame wall there won't be those attacking things, whatever the bombs, the fire fields won't spawn, so you're fine being in the middle. You can also save your Celeste Avatar for that part, so you go the middle, use your Celeste Avatar to buff your allies a bit extra, and then get out, get to the edge. You can also go to your Celeste Avatar to give them some range heals from far away, but that's pretty much it. If you're the kiter, you generally don't want to take damage spirits, because the middle one should have the spirits, so you most likely want to take Cliff of Rejuvenation, because it's a flat heal, it heals you faster if you screw up. Then you might want to take some Cliffs, because those are also insta heals with the trait. You might want to take, you probably take one spirit, and then you can just take the Spirit of Nature as well. Also, when you're doing the kiting at Sabetha, then you can with the flame wall you can also go through the flame wall with ancestral grace, but sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works. I haven't investigated too much, because you can also just dodge through that wall if you time it perfectly, so use it with your own risk. It's usually safer to just use it to the middle, then run around with your group, dodge a few times, back to the edge. I think that's mostly about Soulless. Then we will move on to Slothasor. With Slothasor, it's a very, very Condi heavy boss, so we want to take extra Condi clean. We want to have the extra Condi clean with the healing spring. It removes conditions, I think, 5 times for 5 allies. I'm not sure. I think that's it. So we take the healing spring, we also trade it so we can use it more often, so we take Trapper's expertise instead of primal reflex. And then we just try to use it when there is like the coconut shake, or when there is a lot of slablings shooting at you, or you see someone taking full blast of the flame breath. Then we also take Protect Me, because this is a AoE stun break. When Slothasor is CC'd, he will pretty much lift up and roar or something, and then he will fear everyone. So both subgroups need to have someone with stun break. When you get feared, after you get feared, or when you see someone else getting feared, you use Protect Me, so you can stun break them. If you don't stun break them, they will probably run into poison fields and kill themselves, and just keep running at wall in a poison field until they die. Discussing with your ally druid. The other one might take just frost, and you take with this boss you can ditch water spirit, because the condition clean is more important. If the other druid took both 2 spirits, then you could additionally take search and rescue, or you can take Cliff of Empowerment. But if your group has some problems with mechanics, I recommend you take search and rescue. This way you can pull any allies who have gotten down in a poison or somewhere. You can pull them to safety and then revive them in safety. You can also take here the search and rescue, because there will be many people getting down from too many conditions or something. So probably good idea to have the allies aid with search and rescue, Protect Me. The must is just healing spring and Protect Me. You have to have these two. Also, it's very good idea to take the Spirit of Nature for Soulless, because it also has this pull spoon. It pulls the stability if you somehow don't if you fat fingered your protect me and you don't have any stun break, you might want to use this to give them stability so they don't get feared. But generally, you want to use it to revive people who go down. The coconut shake is very deadly if you don't dodge it, so you might want to save it for that. Also, it's Slothasor, it's important to spam 2 in Soulless Avatar instead of 1 because 2 is a counter clean. And again, with some bosses where you know when it's gonna hurt hard, then that's the moment when you should use your Soulless Avatar. So when it gets when the boss health is low, there's a lot of slablings, there is not much space. You might want to just hold on to your Soulless Avatar until that coconut shake and use it during that one so you can heal your allies when they are most in need. Then we will move on to Matthias. I will not really discuss the escorts and those things because they're a bit of their own story. It doesn't matter too much what you like there. For Matthias, we again want a lot of Condi Clean. Matthias has a lot of burning, chill, poison, so we take pretty much same setup as Soulless. This time we just don't need Protect Me, but we do want to take Search and Rescue because there are many people who get downed in a fire field or they get downed while they have corruption, things like this. So you want to take Search and Rescue to pull them or have your pet just revive them. Could also to take the allies aid again, so you can just pretty much double the revive speed you have because your pet will be reviving them as well. So we could take the Cliff of Empowerment, Search and Rescue, Spirits shared with your ally Druid. With this boss, you can just run 1 Healing Spring and 1 Water Spirit, it's okay. And then Spirit of Nature, very valuable. Another very nice mechanic you can do with Matthias is that you can use the Sublime Conversion when Matthias jumps in the air and slams back into the ground, sends those shards flying every direction. You can use Sublime Conversion right under Matthias, so then all of those shards will become healing projectiles, and they will also boost your team damage when you do this. Otherwise, your teammates might wanna just catch few of them with face tanking to get that damage boost. But as it is nice for those projectiles, you should never use this when Matthias has his bubble up. If you use it then, they will turn into healing projectiles, but they won't reflect back to Matthias, and that means that he won't get his bubble removed by Kronos, by the reflection. So only use this when there is no bubble and when he's jumping in the air. Then we can move on to Casey. With Casey there will be Mid Druid and Pusher Druid. They're pretty much the same, but the Pusher Druid generally wants to take only 1 spirit. With this one there's not much condi, so you will take Water Spirit or Cliff of Rejuvenation. For example, if I'm the Mid Druid I could take Water Spirit and then I could just take 2 spirits. I could take Sun and Stone. We want to take Spirit of Nature for those clutch plays where people just get down for failed mechanic, which you can see beforehand. We don't have the Healing Spring anymore, so we take another trait. And with this boss, you can argue which of these traits is better. Depends on how many mechanics your team fails. So that's basically what you do as a mid-druid there. If you're pushing, you generally don't want to take 2 spirits. You want to take probably 1 spirit and Cliff of Tides. Cliff of Tides helps you with the pushing. And then the other druid has the Water Spirit as well, so you just take something else. So our setup could look like this. When we're pushing, the orb only gets pushed every second when it's attacked, so it doesn't get pushed every attack you do. It only gets pushed after a certain time with auto attacks. I generally find Staff to be unreliable for it because Staff only attacks pretty much 3 mobs, so if there is 3 small ghosts between you and the orb, it won't get pushed. All of your attacks will just hit those ghosts. Or if you use axe, maximum targets 2, it might just hit 2 ghosts and never hit the orb. So I personally find that it's better to actually run sword. You can also run longbow, but with longbow you might want to take an extra trait to make sure it pierces and attacks multiple mobs, so I find sword the most reliable. When you're pushing with sword, you pretty much want to run at the orb, keep auto attacking, wait until the orb gets pushed and keep auto attacking, and always just guide the orb along the arena into the rifts. Then you can use Cliff of Tides as an extra push, but you have to use it in a way that you get most out of it. So you should do it in a way that you just push it with auto and then you push it right away with tides, or you well, pretty much that. You don't want to push it when it could be pushed with your auto. So you want to do it like a combo, just auto tides, then just keep autoing it more. But that's pretty much how you do the pushing. It's not much to it really. Then we can look into Xera. With Xera, there's again a lot of condi, so we will again take the Healing Spring with the trait. Always take the trait when you take Healing Spring. Again, you can argue if your team is failing a lot of mechanics, which one to take. And then usually the rest of the things will be usual setups, so Cliff of Empowerment, some spirits, and one of the druids could take Search and Rescue, because you will only run 3 spirits in utilities. And of course take the Spirit of Nature. With Xera, there is the crystals, and like with all bosses, you can send your pet to attack those crystals. Because your pet, it doesn't matter if it's attacking the boss or maybe helping carrying crystals. Then we can look into Cairn. With Cairn, there is again pretty much 2 druids. One will be in the middle, the other one might be kiting. The one in the middle, well, Cairn doesn't have condi, so we again just take spirits or whatever usual setup. But for the edge druid, they also might want to take those spirits. You can discuss it with them, but sometimes they might want to just take all spirits as well. You generally want to give them at least the sun spirit for extra vigor, so they can dodge more often. And they also want to take Spirit of Nature for the stability. But that's pretty much it again. And when you're kiting Cairn, you can, or when you're just healing Cairn as a druid, those meteor shards that knock you back, you can turn them into heals with Sublime Conversion. So for example, if someone was downed at arrow, boss is in the middle, he's throwing shards at you, you could place the Sublime Conversion there, and now all the shards that go toward the player you're reviving will be turned into heals that won't knock you back. You get a bit breathing room to revive your ally. And that's again pretty much it. Then we have MO. MO can be healed with single druid very easily. With MO, you just go full damage. If you're the single druid, you take all spirits, just everything. So, like this. And again, pretty much it. With MO, you can try to time using Spirit of Nature if you see that a scout will, or whatever, I don't know what they're called after they become bigger, the scouts, statues, whatever. But whenever they become the bigger ones, then you can use this if you know it will explode and kill your allies, or if you have to stand in a lit up tile. It's another very good boss where you can time your Spirit of Nature well. Then we have Samarog. With Samarog, you generally want to run double CC pets, so instead of Tiger, just take Moa, so you have double CC pets to ensure you have enough CC. With Samarog, you might want to take Entangle to keep Rigom in the Samarog's bubble. Then otherwise it's just the usual. Samarog doesn't have that much condi, you won't take the trap, or yeah, healing spring. And with Samarog, we might want to take longbow sometimes, but we replace staff with it. We never replace our axe warhorn because warhorn is way too strong. For Samarog, we can push Rigom with the point blank shot. It's an extra push. Helps if your team doesn't have that many pushes. You can use barrage to cripple him. So first you just push him, cripple him a bit. If he's still walking back, use some entangle on him. He will pretty much stay in that bubble with that. If you have the electric wyvern, you can send your pet to attack it, but you have to make sure that your pet is standing in the correct side of the Rigom. So I will just spawn Golem to show how that works. I don't have the wyvern, but I have the fire one, which will pretty much do the same thing, just without extra CC. So when you send this pet to attack Rigom, he will do this auto chain. Then he will do this wing attack, that one. That attack pushes the mob backwards. Then the pet, the electric wyvern, sometimes walks on the other side of the mob, which you don't want, because then it might use that wing attack where it pushes the enemy back into you, and you don't want that. You only want it to push it back into Samarog's bubble. So now we see that the pet is on the wrong side. Now it's gonna push Rigom towards us. So we call our pet back, and then we call it to attack. This way we can reposition the pet in a way that it will again try to push Rigom further into the bubble. It's important to have the pet on the correct side. That's the attack that pushes it. So the wyvern pet is pretty nice because you can just put it on Rigom. It will keep pushing it further in without you doing much other than making sure that your pet is on the right side of the mob. And that's again pretty much what you do there. I recommend that you save your Celestial Avatar for the brutalized, because whoever's being brutalized gets a lot of damage, so you want to heal them. You want to focus on whoever's being brutalized because they will take a lot of damage. You can have that CC phase for a pretty long time if you just keep healing whoever's being brutalized, so you want to save that for it. You also want to save Celestial Avatar for brutalized because then you can do the CC rotation in it. So use 3 first and then 4, then use the Yuzu stuff. Try to focus whoever is being brutalized, and that way you ensure that you have some CC. You can also go to Longbow to use the point blank shot as a CC on Samarog. And when there are those spears at Samarog, you can also command your pet to attack the spears, maybe relieve some pressure. Then we have Deimos. With Deimos we have Black Kiter and we have Mid Druid. I recommend that the Mid Druid has the Stone Spirit and Water Spirit because you can use these to help your Hand Kiter. The Hand Kiter is in the opposite side of the arena than the tank, which is why the Black Kiter Druid cannot help him. Only you can help him if you're the Mid Druid. We want to take Stone and Water Spirit because those give regen, healing, and protection, and these are nice for the Hand Kiter. Take a lot of damage. So if the boss, let's remove all this. If the boss is being tanked at circle, Hand Kiter is at arrow. We are in the middle at heart with the Mid Druid. We want to place our spirits. The range is about 1000, I think. So we could try to place our spirits somewhere at star. That way the Hand Kiter will get all those boons and it will help them survive. Then we also will take the Spirit of Nature because again, nice revive if people get downed. And we might want to run double CC pets depending on how much CC our group has, because sometimes Saul has those CC phases and If he isn't CC'd, he will do nasty things like steal all your boons or teleport everyone around, which might fuck up tanking, so you must CC him. You generally don't want to take Tiger, because Tiger will give Fury only to the people who are around the boss, and that's pretty much the tank and the Black Kiter. And they don't really care for Fury, so you might take the Fernhound instead, so you can just give some extra healing to your tank and your Black Kiter. Then we have the Black Kiter duty. For the Black Kiting duty, I recommend that you take Axe and Warhorn, and then you take Greatsword, because Greatsword has a block. This way, if something happens to your Chrono, maybe you don't get Aegis, something weird is going on, you can still block the stand in the ward quickly thing with your Greatsword. I think it was said that if you keep jumping while you're channeling this, you can block many attacks with it. So I think I can block this field or not, I'm not sure. But pretty much if you use it like this, then you can try to block some tiers with it in addition to mind whatever destroy attack. That's why we take the Greatsword there. You only want to go to Greatsword for that attack. Other than that, you stay in your usual setup with Call of the Wild being spammed. And you probably want to take some of the spirits like Stone as well. You can. I'm not sure how much the range is if they will reach both from the middle, so that would we have to check out. Robert probably knows more about that. Then, yeah, if you're also the whoever, if you're black kiting, you also might want to just take the Fernhound because it has healing. And there is Soulless Horror. With this, you can have 3 druids if you fail a lot of mechanics. There is pretty much one main heal, and then there will be one pusher and maybe one off pusher. For the main heal, you might want to just take all the spirits. Not all. You want to take Search and Rescue. You just want to take that with Soulless Horror, because Soulless Horror has a lot of those nasty red fields. And if someone gets down in it, you want to pull them out. If someone gets down and wall is coming towards them, you want to pull them out. You can do a lot of nice plays with Search and Rescue. And of course with the Spirit of Nature. So this is what you take with the pretty much the healing druid. Then if you're off pusher, you just take Tides and one spirit and Search and Rescue. And that's pretty much it. You just use your Tides for some extra push. If the pushing sucks, you can take also a longbow to help with it. And then there will be main pusher who will have longbow. They will pretty much just camp longbow the whole time. They will take Cliff of Tides. Then you can also take Muddy Terrain, which is 3-second immobilize. So you first push the golem, then you can use Muddy Terrain to immobilize them on the edge, and that's it. Important thing about Muddy Terrain is that it immobilizes at creation. It doesn't immobilize if the golem walks into it. You have to use it on top of the golem. And so you want Tides, Muddy Terrain, and then probably Search and Rescue, and then you're again set. For the pushing job, you will need additional trait to make sure your point blank shot works every time. There might be, maybe the boss is in front of you, something. This will only push one person if you don't have a specific trait to make it pierce. So then, instead of the nature magic, we are not gonna run any spirits. Or instead of skirmishing, it depends, it's debatable. You might want to take marksmanship to take lead the wind, which makes your longbow attacks pierce. This way you can always, it will always push the golem away, always, even if there is any kind of shit in front of it, so it will always work. And then you can just take maybe stone form, so you just take no damage when you get below certain health, then maybe this, so extra damage when you are using ranged weapons, I think. No, the projectiles do extra damage. Doesn't really matter too much because you just want to lead the wind mainly. And if pushing is still sucking and you have those 2 healing druids, you might want to switch Grace of the Land for Ancient Seeds, which causes Immobilize when you daze, knockdown, launch, foe. So with this, every golem will get immobilized when you use tides or point blank shot, which will help with the pushing. You can also take with the pet, you can take the Chakranda for some extra immobilize as well. And then there is Dhuum, which I haven't played too much, so I can't tell too much about it. It's pretty much, again, the standard stuff. I think Dhuum has a lot of conditions, so you probably want to take the Healing Spring again with the trait. And I think I have tried Tempest and Druid as messenger kiter or whatever, and in my opinion Druid is easier to do it with because you give yourself pretty much perma swiftness with Call of the Wild. You also have a lot of mobility with your staff 3, which helps when you're kiting those nasty messengers. And your auto attack is a lot faster with Druid. The Tempest autos are slow as hell. The messengers will probably be hit by your allies before your projectile reaches them, which is why I think Druid is a better choice. I don't think the trade triggers on pet attacks. I think it says yeah, but even if it did, it doesn't really matter that much because you pretty much use only the Gazelle if you wanna try to launch someone. And that's a bit unreliable because this has a very long cast time and your pet will take a long time to go to the boss. For example, if here is the golem and it has to be pushed right away, I will use this, but it takes quite some time before the pet will actually do their thing. That's what they do. And as you can see, it takes really long. And that's why you don't really want to rely on your pet for the push. You just want to use your tides and point blank shot. And I think that's pretty much it about Druid. I think this has already been quite long stream and we can probably do rest of the healers in another day unless people are really wanting to hear more about other kind of healers. And the Wyvern could be used on slowly dying golems, that's true. But even then, the Ancient Seed has a 10-second internal cooldown, so you will probably use the 10-second internal cooldown with your initial push, which will be Tides or Point Blank Shot. And I think that will be it. We will do more support things and healers another day. And I thank you all for joining this episode of How to Play.